Okay. Hello, everybody. So I'm coming into the recording game a little late for this assignment because I had an incident that resulted in, since we're talking about identity, I might as well incorporate this. I have a new identity, which includes having a massive scar on my hand that is going to be part of my everyday experience for the rest of my life. I had a sickness, resulted in an injury, and so I was unable to record or do a whole lot because of that. But I'm good now, so we're going to do this video. So I guess to start talking about me and how I came to be in this class and to be experiencing all of you, I would have to begin with where I grew up. I had the good fortune of growing up in the same city my whole childhood, leading all the way up to about the age of 19. I grew up in a very small town called Langsberg. Langsberg is a little town a little ways north of Lansing, which is the capital of Michigan, way up in the north. And to say that it's a small town is actually an understatement. This particular town is a place where our high school has a barn, and a lot of our classes are learning how to raise cattle for the beef industry, or raise chickens for eggs, and for meat, of course, poultry. I took botany and zoology courses, but they were botany courses surrounding how to grow vegetables and what the correct way to mix manure was. So, like, this is where I came from. And because we're talking in the context of Creole identity in this course, it's pretty relevant to talk about race. And in the north, there are, especially in Langsberg, there are very, very few racially diverse individuals. I think in my high school of less than 400 students, there was maybe one person who had a darker complexion, and he spoke, and I mean, he probably would have identified as a typical American, white American, if you will, because of the language that he used, and because of where he grew up. So I did not like it there. I felt like I was suffocating for most of my life because, I dreamed of what I saw on the television, which was big cities and travel. And I don't think it was until I discovered French, which is the language that I love and have studied in college, that I really decided that I was going to leave. So around the age of 21, I moved down here I transferred from the community college up there and started attending UCF. And it was shocking, to say the least. Number one, there are more students at this school than there are people that live in the entire town of Langsberg. I don't know the exact numbers, and I'm not even going to guess, but just know that there are significantly more students. There are probably more students walking around on campus on any given day than there are people who actually live in Langsberg. So the level of diversity and the level of backgrounds was just so staggering, but not in a bad way. Like, I know a lot of people, they come from these small towns and they end up being so closed off and unable to learn and adapt and grow and experience new people in a positive way. I took to it like a fish to water. I love it. I'm actually at the point now where when I go back home to see my family, I feel a little claustrophobic. It's just very, um, there's only one street there, and you have to follow that street. And if you don't, then you're awkward. So I guess I'm awkward. I mentioned French before. Speaking an identity, I believe that language is a huge part of our identity. So it's appropriate that we talked a little bit about Creole language in this class, because that determines a great deal of the identity and personas, is what I actually want to say. The personas of many individuals who live in the French Antilles. And I feel I actually kind of feel a little bit connected to them because they do speak French, or they speak a form of French. And I very much feel like, how some people choose a new name for themselves later in life, like you're born with the name Jessica and that's too generic, so you change it to Sarah, or you're born with a name like Kevin, and so you decide, I want to be Zechariah, or something, more exotic. Well, I felt like English was just so boring, and so French is actually, to me, that's my adopted language. It might be my second language, and I'm not quite as good at talking in French as I would like to be, but I am working on that. But I do feel like it's when I'm talking in French, I feel much more like myself than I do when I'm talking in English. So I guess I would almost identify as Francophone now, because I have gone to Quebec and I have spent quite a lot of time. The majority of my friends now speak French, and I'm hoping to one day have family that speaks French. So yes, I would say that is probably the largest thing that makes me. I have the fleur de lis tattooed on my back, so I guess that makes me a Francophone, like an honorary Francophone, if that's a thing. So I think that is a big part of who I am. And then the small town aspect of me is who I am. I still, even though I don't like the culture from where I came from, I still value a lot of our customs. I miss having bonfires. I don't know if you guys know what that is, those of you who are from the big cities, but a bonfire is just this great big huge campfire. It's like 4 times the size. We usually use bales of hay, and we drink hard cider and beer, and we just have a really great time chatting and talking, and I do miss that. Hay rides, wagon pulls. I miss the farms, and the stars. I miss the stars. So there are a lot of things that I still value about small town life, but I just don't think I could ever go back and actually live there. I think I would be missing out on way too much. So I guess that makes me a little bit eclectic, but I still feel very much like a Nord, a French Nord. So that's me.